Welcome back to my workshop. Now today I've got one of those quick can you just do jobs. I have a walking stick here. It's got a very nice parrot head on the top, but the walking stick is actually bent. I'll show you that in a minute. And it's made of plastic and it's not really strong enough. Okay, so what I need to do is make a new walking stick. Okay, so this plastic walking stick here, let's unscrew the head quickly and I'll show you how bent it is. So we've got the head, collar, and hopefully we can get this off, and the foot. Right, put it on my flat surface and I'll show you how bent it is. So using my table saw here, because it's cast iron, it's very flat. Now just laying this on the table and then rotating it, you can see, there you go, it's got a big bow in this end, and then if we take it to the other end, you can see it's got a big bow in it at that end. Okay, so this is no good. Let's make a wooden one. So as usual, I'm going to make it out of what's available. I'm going to use the original head, okay, because it's quite a nice thing. It's a nice little parrot. Okay, you're going to use that. It's just got a thread on the end. And we're going to use this, which is actually a curtain pole. Okay, this I know is quite flat, so we're going to use that. And we're going to use this. Now this is obviously a part out of an old shower. You'll see what that's going to be for. I'll show you that in a minute. So the first thing I need to do is, obviously the length of the walking stick is quite critical, because if you get it wrong you can end up with pains in your back. And the lady who this is for, this is an ideal size for her. So what I'm going to do is measure this, which I think it's 77 centimetres. Yeah, so 30.5 inches. I'm going to cut my curtain pole to probably a little bit longer to start with, so I've got something to play with. Okay, so let me cut that first. So I cut this to length. It's got a hole in the centre on one end, but obviously not in the other. So I'm just going to quickly use my centre finder here and find the centre. Right, let's get this in the lathe. So I'm going to be turning this between centres. I'm going to put in my little centre finder there and mount it in the lathe. Are we mind? Are we other? Now this just about fits in my lathe here. You can see it's right on the end here, but it should be enough, hopefully. Right, let's spin this up. Okay, so you would have thought this would be quite easy. It started off already round, but once you actually get it in the lathe and the length of it, there's a little bit of flex, and it's actually not as round as you think. But I've turned it down as round as I can at the moment. Now, how thick do we want it? Right, so the original walking stick is that big, which is 19.9, so almost 20 mil. That obviously changes. So we want it a little bit thicker than that. Okay, what have we got at the moment? So at the moment we have 33, so we've still got a way to go. But before I carry on with that, what I want to do is concentrate on this bit. I don't know what you call it, maybe a ferrule or something. Now obviously I can't use the original one because it's going to be too thin. So this is where this comes into play. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this, and I'm going to turn it down on the lathe and make a new collar. Right, I've never done this before. Should we see what happens? Right, so this is off of an old shower. You can see it's been used. let's get this off. I think I need a decent spanner. Right, bigger pair of grips. King Dick. That's that off. Just got to get the olive off. Here you have it. So, got to remove the new walking stick out of the lathe. My centre can come out with this stuck up its bottom. That's out. A new chuck can go on, or my little chuck can go on. And I'm going to mount it on there. Let me show you how that's done. So what I'm going to do is, instead of the jaws closing up and gripping whatever I'm going to turn, I'm going to actually put it on here and then open the jaws and then grip it from the inside. Okay, so that's flat on there. Okay, so it's gripped it from the inside. And spin it up. So what I'm going to use for this is one of these, which is my tungsten carbide tools. I'm assuming this is going to work. I don't know. I could end up just ruining my bit. But let's give it a go anyway. Let's see what happens. Let's make it shiny. Well, it sort of appears to be working. I'm managing to get some of the metal off. Don't know what damage it's doing to this. I've got some new ends for this anyway, but it appears to be working. Let's go a bit more. Right, well that appears to have worked. I'm quite pleased with that. Right, what I've got to do now is take these off of here and put the stick back in, and then turn the stick down to match this. Then I can turn them both at the same time. You'll see what I mean. So I've now got the actual walking stick back in here now. Here's our new shiny collar that's not finished yet. So we want it to be approximately 26mm. So we're going to turn the collar down on here about 26mm so I can get this on the end. So I'm now turning this down to the same size as the inside of that, but the thing is though, this has still got a thread on it. But what I'm going to do, use that to my advantage, I'm going to try and thread that onto there. It's a bit slippery. There we go. Right, so now I can mount that back in the lathe and turn it down to match the wood. Yeah, that might work. So I've just pulled this off the lathe. This is looking quite good actually. I don't know if you can see that. Let's get it in focus. Yeah, so it now matches up with the size of the wood. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to taper this down and obviously cut it to the right length and then figure out what I'm going to do on the collar. I think what I'll do is I'll use the original ferrule, this thing in there, and then have the parrot's head on the top. So I've opened the hole up in the middle, big enough to open except the thread. See what happens. Right, get this back in the lathe and then profile the length of it. So I've now cut this to the right length. I think what I'll do is on the foot end, I've got another rubber on the end here. What I'll do is I'm going to put another since I had it on the same valve, another collar on there. So what I'll do is I'll turn this down, big enough for this or big enough for this, and then turn this bit down, big enough to fit this in, and then turn it so it's shiny. That's the sort of plan. Let's see what happens. Right, I just want to turn the inside of this nut. I want to open it up a little bit, so what I've had to do is quickly turn a little boss here to screw this onto, so I can get in there to actually open it out a little bit. So now I've turned down this end so I can get my second nut on here, and what I should do now is turn this down so it's shiny like the other end and smooth, and then I'll taper it into the stick. So let's get on with that. So this is as far as we've got so far. We've got this end, which is the handle end, which is looking all very nice. I've profiled the shape a little bit so it tapers in at the end. And then this was the other nut. And then this obviously is where the rubber foot goes. Now they want this a dark colour, so I'm going to hit it with a bit of this, which is Jacobean dark oak. It's quite dark. Hopefully that's going to come out okay. All right, let's get some dye on that. Right, well, according to this, I've got to leave this for about 6 hours. So that looks like that's me done for the night. I'll see you in the morning. Morning, let's carry on. Right, so the dye's been drying overnight. I think it's all quite dry now. Before I put any wax on it, what I want to do is just quickly shine up all the brassy bits, and I'm going to do that on my wheel. So I've put some wood dye on it, and now I'm going to put some Yorkshire grit on it. That's this stuff, which is a fine abrasive paste. This should give it a bit more of a smooth finish. Okay, so the brass bits are not actually stuck on with anything. So what I'm going to do is just do a little tiny bit of this stuff, which is Starbond. It's like a CA glue. A little bit of that in there, a little bit of that on there. It should stop them coming off. Okay, right, I've just stuck the foot end on. This is the original rubber. And again, I'll put a little bit of CA glue on there just to hold it in place. So all I've got to do now is screw on the head. Right, so that's about it. It's all done. This looks very nice now. I like this. It's hard to believe that this little thing here was a bit of this, but I'll probably use that for something else. Yeah, it looks very nice. It's not too heavy. It's got a rubber foot on the end now. Yeah, much better than the original plasticky one. Okay, so hopefully she's going to like this. What I'm going to do now is ship this off to her and see if she likes it. Right, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Okay, so okay, so the brass bits are not actually stuck on with anything. So what I've done is I've quickly put wherever it is. Lost it, hang on.